Hey guys, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us on this Cinco de Mayo is Perri Nemiroff.
Hi guys, surprise, I'm hosting today. It's Friday Movie Talk, and sadly, Dennis did not let Rocha say the word gravitas on today's show, so Rocha kicked him to the curb,
That's
and
right.
I am in the captain's seat.
Yes,
Who else is joining me?
Also joining us, said John Rocha.
Hello, I think I'm looking at the right camera. Everything's been moved around, so we're going on the fly here. And one more thing, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins.
What?
For those that get it, you know what I'm saying. For those that don't, you will get it.
Also joining us, our first movie talk together, David Griffin.
Woo,
What's happening?
I like he's looking off camera. I was
Morning,
like,
David. Are you
Professional
good?
David
We
Griffin.
just completed
boy.
5 days of live TV talks. So if I seem a little out of it, there's a reason for that. Thanks for joining us.
You're still rocking those cool shirts. I'm glad I
Yeah.
Casual
get to
Friday.
enjoy this view on a Friday.
This blue is popping.
Oh,
Poppin'.
it is. It is.
poppin'.
And you know what else is popping? That is an awful transition.
Yes.
I'll never
I
say
thought
that
it was
again.
great.
We had a brand new trailer for Dunkirk drop this morning, and if you have seen it, oh my God.
Yeah.
I am just completely blown away. And it's not that I didn't expect to get another great trailer from this movie, but this is the first one I think that really dives into all the different perspectives we're going to get here. And wow, the action sequences are incredible. And I wrote down when they write when 400,000 men couldn't get home.
Yeah.
That is just kind of the perfect way to set the tone for this trailer, where you start to feel stranded with them, and then it paves the way to where we get Mark Rylance with all the other people who are not part of the army coming in to rescue them. I mean, I was just completely bowled over by this, which I shouldn't have been, because it's freaking Christopher Nolan. I should kind of expect this at this point, but I feel like Dunkirk is kind of shaping up to be one of my most anticipated of the year by far. Rocha, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. As a massive fan of war films, I am super excited to see this. The first trailer, I know, didn't get the best response. Some people felt it was a bit slow, but dragged it. It wasn't quite as exciting. You really seeing things popping off now in this trailer with Perry's transition there. You're really seeing it with this trailer. And also, I went to see Their Finest, which is a small little British film that also deals with Dunkirk and them making a film, and they explore the fallacies and the truths that had come out of what had happened at Dunkirk. So I hope Nolan strips that all away and shows us what actually happened during this whole time. And it isn't just the English soldiers, there's French soldiers as well. So when they talk about the 400,000, it's more than just British soldiers. So I think this is going to be a very well done, passionate, interesting war film, probably on the lines of something like Private Ryan, something like Das Boot, where you are just stuck in this thing the whole time till the end of the whole battle there, until they're rescued. And it's great to see Mark Rylance coming off of Bridge of Spies, doing something like this really powerful, and Cillian Murphy as well, who is so great to see him in the trailer. And of course, I'm a massive Kenneth Branagh fan in Henry V, so it's great to see him in this. So there's so much correct service being paid to this particular battle in World War II that it's going to be, I think we're in for an amazing, amazing film. And Tom Hardy, of course, just being intelligible, which is great.
D. Griff, what'd you think? Anything in particular here that stood out to you?
Even watching this on a small little 13-inch monitor here, this is a film that begs to be seen in the cinema. I mean, we know shooting on those IMAX cameras. I mean, you want to see this on the biggest screen possible. Those wide shots look incredible, but also not how big it is, but how some of those shots made you feel so claustrophobic. There was 2 shots back to back that really stood out to me. One, it's where these kind of like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, how these 2 boats were closing in. This guy, and he's grabbing for his friend as the boats are closing on, and then it cuts to this other shot where this guy is in. There's this wall of water is about to push this guy against the wall, and it just makes you feel so small. This is something you have to see on the big screen. There's been a lot of talk lately about movies coming into the homes and paying $30 for movies, like when they come out, like seeing Guardians of the Galaxy at home or something like that. I think sometimes you need to go to the theater. You need to go to the big screen. And this movie just begs to be seen on the big screen.
It's so nice to see something like this that leads so perfectly into that end title card, where it's like, see it in IMAX. Because that last shot that you were just talking about with the guy being pressed against the wall with all the water rushing towards him, that's the shot you get right before it cuts to, it's going to be shown this way in IMAX. And that's the kind of feeling where you need to say, oh my God, I have to see it in this format, because this thing really looks incredible. I am counting down.
Yeah, and I've seen it. I've mentioned this a couple times on other shows here on Collider. I saw the 10 minutes of the IMAX feature when you went to see Rogue One, and it is off the charts, and it's off the charts amazing. And what you're talking about, David, I think we'll never fully 100% transition to TV because there's something about the communal experience, especially with something like this, seeing a war film, seeing our history, our world history portrayed in such a fantastic fashion.
All righty, let's roll into our lead story of the day. Natasha, what do we got?
In honor of the Star Wars holiday, May the 4th, Entertainment Weekly revealed some new details from the upcoming The Last Jedi, including a reveal that director Rian Johnson asked JJ Abrams to change the ending of Force Awakens just a bit. When Johnson saw the planned ending for Abrams' Star Wars movie, he had a concern about who was accompanying Rey on that journey and requested that instead of her showing up with BB-8 as originally planned, Rey would show up with R2-D2, providing Luke as his beloved old friend after so many years in isolation. And speaking of Luke, and for everyone worried that he might not have much of a role in the saga going forward, Johnson also told EW that Luke is in fact the central story of The Last Jedi. Figuring out where his head was at the very first thing I had to do when writing this movie, I had to crack this, and it had to be something for me that first and foremost made sense. Why did Luke Skywalker go off to this island? Johnson says that was the starting point, and that's what the entire movie explores. Perri, what do you think about Rian Johnson's comments about The Last Jedi?
I'm surprised that many folks out there would think that Luke Skywalker wouldn't have a big role in The Last Jedi, especially given how much of him we saw in that teaser trailer. He was a pivotal part of that. So that's not really what surprises me about this story. It is really interesting to hear about the decisions made with the droid swapping, though, because when you watch The Force Awakens, it makes sense to have R2 there. I was surprised to hear that it was ever in consideration to have BB-8 join them on that journey because, I don't want to speak for JJ Abrams or whatever creative thought process led to the decision to have BB-8 in there originally, but it would have almost seemed like, given BB-8's role in The Force Awakens versus R2's, that BB-8 would have been there simply so we could have more BB-8 in The Last Jedi and so that we could continue to have that bond between Rey and BB-8, which, I mean, I don't want to say it feels like a cash grab with toy sales and all that fun stuff like that, but this was R2's moment. The whole point in The Force Awakens of R2 being there was the map, the way to figure out how to get him there, and his relationship with Luke in all the previous films. He needs to be there at the end of that movie. He needs to be there with them in The Last Jedi. So I am so glad to hear that it panned out this way. David, what do you think about it?
I think it's perfect, Perri, because I think R2-D2, that's Luke's droid. That's Luke's buddy. He needs to be. Well, I guess it's more Anakin's too. His dad, spent time with him too. But that's Luke's buddy. And the thing is, at Star Wars Celebration, this was really interesting. When they were doing the Last Jedi panel, BB-8 rolled out, and of course the fans went crazy. Everybody loves BB-8. He's so cute. His white and orange body. He's great. But R2-D2, that's old school Star Wars. That's original. So I think old school Star Wars droid needs to be with old school Star Wars character Mark Hamill. And I keep forgetting how beloved Mark Hamill is. No matter what panel we were at the Last Jedi panel, we were at the dedication to Carrie Fisher. Mark Hamill is beloved. I mean, he hasn't maybe been in a ton of films like Harrison Ford, but his voice acting career, playing the Joker in the Batman animated series, I'm so glad that he's still involved in this. Yes, he deserves a story to tell. Where has Luke been the last 30 years? What has he been doing? I can't wait to see Last
There's
Jedi.
a reason that he has that effect, because not
Fans
only
love
is
him.
he is clearly he's excellent in the Star Wars films, but every single panel I've ever seen him on or any video that he's done, that guy radiates excitement and warmth. And when you're that kind of person, you're gonna get that kind of reaction no matter what. Rocha, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think this makes logical sense because they were trying to kind of pay homage to the original trilogy and then move into this new threesome, foursome, whatever you want to say, with Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, and BB-8, right? So it makes sense to me that Rey would bring BB-8 because that's her connection, is that droid, not R2-D2. R2-D2 is just something she'd maybe heard in legend, right? But of course, this was the right move. You're reuniting Luke. You got to bring R2-D2 with you to reunite with Luke and then get the full information. And the thing is, R2-D2 is the droid with more depth, right? Chopper is the crazy psychopath. BB-8 is the fun, playful droid, but R2 has been there and seen a lot of stuff through the multiple films, right? So it makes sense to bring him in because he's got the gravitas to put in there and connect with Luke.
Take a shot, everyone. Come on.
With Luke. It just makes the most sense, and I'm glad they've made this decision. And the thing with Luke, David, you bring up a great point, both you and Perri, like Mark Hamill is so integral to this, and I think they heard the fans very, very powerfully just from that first teaser trailer. It is Mark Hamill, it is Luke Skywalker doing the voiceover a majority of the time. He gets the last line that the Jedi must end. All that is done to let you know we hear you. Luke is going to be a central part of this. Don't worry about it, and we're going to take care of you. And the charity stuff, that video that released the other day, just the Omaze one, just so great. And you just really get how much he loves the fans and the fans love him. So all of
you
that.
bring up Poe too, and that's another really important thing about this swap here, because we don't know too much about the story of The Last Jedi. But had they not swapped the droids, maybe we wouldn't have gotten that shot of Poe with BB-8 in the trailer. And even though BB-8 struck up quite the relationship with Rey in the movie, he was Poe's droid to start, and I kind of want to see where that relationship goes. Another great thing about this story is just the collaborative nature of coming up with future Star Wars films. I mean, how cool is that Rian Johnson got to go up to JJ Abrams and say, yo, I think that it should be this way, and I don't know if they talked it through or whatnot, but it seems to me at this point in time in the Star Wars universe that worked out for the better. So it is nice to hear that things like this can happen. All right, now it is time for Buy or Sell, the point in the show when we say whether we're going to buy or sell one of these stories. So, Natasha, what's the first one we got?
A new featurette has been released for Universal's reimagining of The Mummy. Starring Tom Cruise, the movie reboots the Mummy legend by introducing us to an ancient princess played by Sofia Boutella, who is entombed deep beneath the unforgiving desert for eternity. When Cruise's character Nick Morton unwillingly takes her in our current day, she brings a malevolence grown over a millennia with terrors that defy human comprehension. Directed by Alex Kurtzman, The Mummy is set to hit theaters on June 9th. Perri, do you buy or sell the new featurette for The Mummy?
I buy it. I'm nervous about this movie just because, well, I want the Monster Cinematic Universe to be great.
Yes.
And, we've really only seen promos. So it's nerve-wracking to go into something where, it's nerve-wracking to go into anything where they spend, $100 million plus to make a movie. But when you know ahead of time that this movie is supposed to start, whether it's just a singular franchise, a series of films, or a gigantic cinematic universe, holy crap, that's a lot of pressure on one movie. And I've liked everything that I've seen so far. I'm just a little skeptical just because there's so much that this has to kick off. But this featurette probably gives me more hope than any of the trailers that I've seen, because I'm a big fan of Sofia Boutella, and this to me is just perfect casting. Because not only is she someone who could sell, they say it in this featurette, something about her look and her eyes, you could just see what she's thinking. You get access to her character just through her look alone. And with her background, she is a dancer. I think it's a Nike commercial or something like that. If you've never seen that, look it up. She's incredible in that. She has the physicality for this role. And it seems like everybody that is part of the project is aware of it. And it's really nice to hear about the five, I think there were 5 stages of this character, just in terms of her physicality and her design. And to get that, this is the first time we're really getting a super clear sense. It's been hinted at in certain trailers, but it's nice to hear someone say out loud, this is a villain that you're going to identify with to a point. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to say, oh, she is a full-blown anti-hero for all I know, where we're rooting for her in the end. But the idea of she was promised this thing and then it was taken away from her, whether she's good or bad at the end of the movie, I think anybody can identify that. And that's a really powerful message to send at this point in the campaign.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rocha?
Oh, I absolutely buy it. I can't wait to see this film. I'm just such I'm such a massive mark for Tom Cruise. Like, I will go see just about anything Tom Cruise has ever been in, except All the Right Moves. That's the one I've never seen before. So there we go. But this just feels so different than what we've seen before. And by the way, this is very intelligent what is happening with Tom Cruise as an action movie star. And people need to take note. In the last Mission Impossible, he is less capable of handling this stuff than he's ever been before. Rebecca Ferguson has to really step in and help him through this. All the other times in the Mission Impossible movies, people have kind of taken a backseat to Tom Cruise, to Ethan Hunt. But in that last Mission Impossible, he's not as capable. In Edge of Tomorrow, right? Is Edge of Tomorrow? Is that the one? Is kind of like trying to do the old school Tom Cruise thing, and he has to be roped into being this action hero with Emily Blunt. And now in this, we see that this is an anti-hero. Sofia Boutella, the Mummy, is not going to be a straight-up villain. There's going to be more to it. The fact that they're giving her this kind of layered, complex backstory that she's been screwed out of being emperor. And this works as well for 2017 because, once again, we're looking at this idea of how, in a patriarchal society, men are chosen over women sometimes, and we're changing that. We're moving towards that. So this is happening now in the movie. This is focusing on you, making you feel somewhat sympathy for her for what she's trying to do. And she shows that she doesn't kill Tom Cruise in that little promo and says, there are fates worse than death. So she's going to use people in a certain way to get what she wants to get, and we may sympathize with her. And once again, this does not make Tom Cruise the straight-up action hero of this movie. And I think this is brilliant. And I think we're in good hands with Alex Kurtzman because he's progressed from the writer to producer to now director. And so to me, I'm looking forward to see it. And I'm with you, Perri. I want this to kick off an awesome Monsters universe and really kick ass. They do the great job with Russell Crowe, rumors with Johnny Depp, rumors of all these people coming in to play the different characters. I'm so excited to see it. And I have nothing but faith in this movie so far in everything I've seen.
Do you share his faith?
I do. I share his faith. I also buy this feature. Another Star Wars Celebration story. On the way to Orlando, I was sitting next to one of the line producers from The Mummy. He was in London the whole time,
Nice.
on set. And he said, Tom is there as early as anybody else. He said, if anything, you have to be more prepared than he is because he is so focused. If he seems intense, Tom Cruise, he's an intense dude for a lot of reasons, but it's because he just believes in what he's doing so much. He kind of just sees it and he believes it into reality. And like he is passionate. He's the best spokesperson you can have for any film you're going to make. So Tom Cruise, just by his presence, sells me on this. So of course I buy this feature. Also, Sofia Boutella, I want to know more about, the Mummy's character. Was it Imhotep? I think was the first, the main villain in the first two. Amenhotep. Am I saying it
This
wrong?
one's Amenet.
Amenhotep, yeah. But I think the first villain, you didn't really know who he was. He was kind of a mustache twirling, all evil kind of character. I want to know more about a little more depth with the villain. Whenever you give depth to villains, it just makes them better. So I'm definitely excited for this.
Yeah. All right. What's our next story, Natasha?
With a new Blade Runner 2049 trailer likely to be released soon after or right before a scheduled Facebook Q&A scheduled for Monday with stars Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford, 2 new posters and a trailer tease have been released for Denis Villeneuve's upcoming sequel. The new film takes place 30 years after the original and follows new Blade Runner K, played by Gosling, on a quest to find Rick Deckard, played by Ford, who has been missing the past 3 decades. The film is written by Logan's Michael Green and original Blade Runner writer Hampton Fancher and opens on October 6th. Rocha, buy or sell the new posters for Blade Runner 2049.
I feel like I'm going to be on an island here from what we talked about off camera, but I absolutely love these posters. Blade Runner is a noir. This is what it's all about. That universe is a noir. It's standing alone. It's against the elements. It's feeling like you're distant from everything else. You see the destruction behind Harrison Ford that alludes to, you see the red, the orange, that alludes to the replicants. Remember, if you see the original movie, replicant is in red. There's a reason for this. There's all this that alludes to the original film that's really, really powerful. And then if you look at Ryan Gosling, he's in a brighter situation. He's the hero of this movie. So logically, he's going to be in whiter, kind of lighter lights, and you see this badass car next to him. Do you know what I'm saying? But you see all the rain and the smoke. All of that is noir stuff. And he's got the trench coat with the things up, alluding to kind of that shot from that famous shot of James Dean walking in New York with the trench coat up. You have everything going for these films that is working on you in these posters rather, that is working on you subconsciously. And for those of us that love the Blade Runner original film, that's me and Scott Mantz and millions of others, these 2 posters are fantastically perfect to evoke what they're going to do with the sequel and what Denis Villeneuve is going to do so powerfully with this film. So I couldn't love these more. I couldn't buy these more. I'll probably have to take Perri's money and Dave's money and buy more. So there we go. That's
I don't know about him. I can't read your reactions right now. Are you into these? Are you
fantastically perfect is the correct phrase.
Yes.
I buy this as well.
Thank you.
It looks good.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
It looks great.
Yeah. See that Makuga? That's how you high five Makuga. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was a huge Blade Runner fan as a kid. I didn't get to see it, of course, in the theater, but I saw it later on, and I saw it with my dad, and I absolutely loved it. I bought the 25th anniversary edition on Blu-ray. There's a great 3.5, 4 hour behind the scenes by Ridley Scott. It's fantastic. You should buy the Blu-ray. It just looks cool. I love that coat. Right? I like fashion as I wear this blue Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, so fashionable.
I have great fashion sense. That coat is pimping. I want to get that coat. Ryan Gosling looks great. He always looks good. And Harrison Ford looks great too. Like Rocha said, I love the contrast. I'm excited because Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors out there. Sicario was my favorite movie of 2015.
Yes.
So I trust what he's doing. And it's Roger Deakins doing this too. The man who's been snubbed at the Academy Awards for years. Right. Give this man an Oscar. I'm seeing this. I buy it.
Don't get carried away. I'm going to sell the posters. I'm selling the posters because,
Makes no sense.
as you know, I'm not a big Blade Runner fan, but that does not mean I'm going to write off this movie and I either don't want to see it at all or I want it to be bad. That has nothing to do with this at all. When I first saw that poster of Ryan Gosling, I saw a Fast and Furious poster.
No.
That is what I saw. And the first thing I saw
Vin Diesel couldn't wear that coat. Vin Diesel couldn't wear that coat.
That is a very fair point.
And no
but
shot,
it still looks like
no
a
shot
Fast
in
and Furious
has
poster.
ever looked that cool. No shot in Fast and Furious has ever looked that cool. That's badass.
Okay. No poster for Fast and Furious has ever looked that cool,
That's
but
right.
it still looks like a Fast and Furious poster. And you know what else it
Point
looks
taken.
like? It looks like Harrison Ford is wearing pajamas.
He's older. He's got. That's why older
He's
guys
been
wear
missing
shirts.
for
They got to be
3
I
comfy.
guess there must be a point to it. It's just like the first thing
Well-
that my eye was drawn to was
Yeah.
that like frumpy T-shirt that looks like he slept in it for God knows how many days.
Yeah, because that's Deckard. Deckard wasn't about showing
Maybe
off
it is.
anything.
As,
and he's got
as
the
someone
blaster.
who is not super
Yeah, yeah,
passionate
yeah.
about the original Blade Runner, what I wanted from teaser posters, the first posters we were getting
Yeah.
was something that draws me in. But luckily, what else dropped today
Yeah.
was the trailer teaser
Yeah.
for the
Right.
trailer that's dropping in 3 days. And there was another teaser trailer back in the
Mm-hmm,
fall. Both of them had the same effect, where even though I don't like this, and even though I don't want to watch the original Blade Runner ever again, I look at those and all of a sudden I'm interested. And that is saying a lot as a non-fan of the original, that all of a sudden I'm really looking forward to seeing what particularly Denis Villeneuve and Deakins are doing with this movie, because those things look absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you, Perry. Because this is like the reverse of Power Rangers, right? Me and you would like with those things would come
You
on.
know,
I'd be
it
like,
kind
I'm
of
going to give
is.
it a chance. But Perry would look at the nuance of the posters, and I wouldn't catch half of what she was talking about. But I went and saw the movie and enjoyed it too. But the thing behind him is not the Statue of Liberty. That's a replicant. Get that in your head. See, all these things are there to evoke the original film.
Yeah, I don't think Statue of Liberty has her mouth open.
That's what I'm
quite
saying.
like that.
Yeah, people have been saying things like that online.
It's
Is what
like-
I'm saying.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
In another weird, warped universe.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
the
got to educate
multiverse,
the
that's
youngins.
true.
There we
Oh
go.
boy!
Okay.
All right, I think we should move on to our next story. Tasha.
Okay, the first trailer for Wait For It, the Gravitas Ventures film Score, a film music documentary, has been released online. Directed by Matt Schrader, a former newsman for CBS who spent 2 years getting the film off the ground, the doc offers a look at the art and impact of film composers and their work in the movies. Featuring interviews with everyone from John Williams to Trent Reznor to Hans Zimmer and Bear McCreary, the movie gives an inside look at how film scores get composed, how they've evolved over the decades, and where the medium is heading now. Score is set to open in theaters on June 16th. David, buy or sell the new trailer for Score?
I definitely buy this. When I walked in on set, Natasha was watching the trailer, and she had this big smile on her face.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
she's just so happy. I mean, this just looks so interesting. I want to learn more about. I'm a musician. I play a little piano. I can play a little guitar. I'm not in the band. You know, I'm not going to be touring anytime soon. But I dabble. And so I'm always fascinated by these guys who are at the top of their game. I mean, Hans Zimmer, I know this is movie talk, so I've been talking about a lot of TV. Bear McCreary is in this as well.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, Battlestar Galactica,
Outlander.
He is one of the,
The
best
Outlander
composers.
theme is hands down, and that's not even one of my favorite shows, but one of my favorite themes ever.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be great. John Williams, to see how these masters of their craft do what they do. And they're all very different. You know, from Danny Elfman to John Williams, all very different styles. But music, my sister's an opera singer. My grandfather was a blind piano player, jazz musician. So music is in my family. Even though I can't sing and I just play badly, I still appreciate a good score. So I definitely buy the score. I can't wait to see this.
Rocha,
Yeah.
do you play an instrument, and do you like this trailer?
I am actually learning to play guitar now. I've been learning for about a
we
month.
should do some practice, do some lessons
Sure.
together. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the musical stylings of David Griffin. Yeah, no, I am learning to play guitar now. It's a difficult thing to make at my age to make your fingers.
You gotta
do
build up your
things.
calluses,
Yeah,
too.
Really, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's all right. I have black fingertips all
Yeah.
the time, you know. But it's worth it because it's beautiful to create this kind of thing, to create music. And for me, it's ridiculous. It's 2 years to get this off the ground. People love scores. People have been addicted to scores for years, for decades of love. I'm like from Bernard Herrmann all the way out to John Williams, all the way out to Hans Zimmer, all the way out to Danny Elfman. You know, all these amazing scores that we will like when we hear it, we immediately have visceral reactions to it wherever we are. We could be driving, we could be sitting at our house, we could be doing whatever, and we hear the score, we go, like the E.T. score in the documentary, I was like, duh. Yeah, I may not like the movie 1,000%, but I absolutely love the score, and so it still puts you in that place. And the music has that incredible transportational and transformational vibe. And so for me, the fact that in 2017 we're finally getting a documentary about scores and soundtracks is nuts. I can't help but to think the Schmodown had something to do with this, with scores and soundtracks, but still I think this is a fantastic that it's finally happening, and I can't wait. I buy
There's-
it completely.
What, just so we can clarify this,
Yep.
what company is making this movie?
Stop it. I'm not going to do it. I already gave them $1.
Fine.
Gravitas. Yeah.
I'm sure there's other documentaries about scores out there, but I hope this one
Yeah.
gets mainstream enough where people can really appreciate how much goes into it. Because the footage in the trailer that struck me most was the ET footage, because you hear that, and just to see it happen is a different thing. Because I feel like personally, I take some of those scores for granted. It's not just that, I don't care that someone works super hard on it, but it's really different when you hear the iconic score and you see people working on it. That has a very different feeling. So if this movie covers that process and how some of the most iconic scores of all time came into existence, and just, I want to know more about the process. I want to know about how you get from point A to point B. I have a very general idea of how composers develop scores for feature films, but if this gives a deeper insider look of that process, I am just going to love this thing to death.
Yeah, and I love that Pirates of the Caribbean stuff where he's like, this is Led Zeppelin for an orchestra, and there's like, oh, this is brilliant.
And
What a
typically
great
these little segments get relegated. If you get a Blu-ray, it'll be like a little like
special
4-minute
features.
feature, like how the music was made. But I'm glad we're gonna get probably at least a full 2 hours on this.
It is a very cool way to bring all types of movie fans together too, because even like you said, you don't like E.T. 1,000%. I'm not the biggest fan of the Pirates franchise, but even when we got to that point in the trailer, I'm like, yes, that score is something else.
I feel like it's one of those things too, and maybe I might be oversimplifying and generalizing, but I feel like not everybody likes sports, and everybody likes certain kinds of food. But I feel like music, even if you're not a music, you wouldn't call yourself a music lover.
Everybody loves
Everybody
music.
has a song that they kind of like, no matter what it is, whether it's a jingle or something. I feel like everybody has a song that they like, and this is, like you said, bring people together watching this for sure.
Natasha and Wendy, I know you guys had some feelings about this.
So many feels watching this. I loved it. And I think that Griffin, Rocha, and I need to start a band because I also play piano.
What?
Wait. I play the piano
Okay,
too.
cool.
Oh my God. Dueling piano right here.
Three
Dueling
pianos and a
piano.
guitar.
We're going to have both of them
pianos,
do
two
dueling
guitars.
guitars.
Yeah.
I like
I'll
it.
But
spice
yeah,
it up
so
with a little
just-
saxophone. How about that?
But there you
band
go.
right here.
Collider
Got a
band.
traveling band.
This is the most
tour.
awkward band
I love
combination.
it. This is like Ringo
We're
and his All Stars.
called the Gravitas.
The Gravitas band.
Gravitas, yes.
So yeah, just having a musical background and even growing up dancing ballet and just being in love with classical music, I think it's so important to highlight these classical music masters who are literally creating these feelings of nostalgia and love in all of these like beloved films. And I especially think it's good for little kids to see it too, because now with public schools like taking away funding for music classes, like I learned my notes when I learned how to play the recorder in 3rd grade, and then that helped me play piano, and now I've been playing it for 12 years. So it's good to see these masters really put so much passion into these projects and have future generations look at that and be like, this is music, not like, stuff that we hear on the radio.
Natasha, it's no wonder we're birthday twins, because you literally took the words right out of my mouth. When she was watching the trailer, the E.T. music was playing, and I was like, are you watching E.T.? Because I know you don't like E.T.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show how important scores and soundtracks are to movies, and I love that they're giving us a documentary to show how it's made, and because I really, really want to dive into it a little bit more, and I really feel like scores and soundtracks sometimes is the unsung hero of movies.
Exactly. And like Perri was saying, like she doesn't know like the point A to point B to get it done, but like for musicians, we know the struggle. So it's nice to like see that highlighted in the mainstream, and I'm so excited.
All right, let's move on to our next story, Natasha.
Okay, Amazon Studios has released the first trailer for Kumail Nanjiani's The Big Sick. The movie debuted at this year's Sundance Film Festival to rave reviews, sparking a bidding war among major studios. Written by Nanjiani and his wife Emily V. Gordon, the movie presents a fictionalized account of Nanjiani's real-life courtship with Gordon, which was unexpectedly interrupted when she fell ill. The film also covers the challenges the couple faced from both sides of their family. The Big Sick also stars Zoe Kazan, Ray Romano, and Holly Hunter, and will open in limited release this summer on June 23rd, with a wide release after on June 14th. Perri, buy or sell the first trailer for The Big Sick?
Bye. And speaking of music, if you set your trailer to the tune of a Vampire Weekend song, I'm probably going to like it. I like this a lot. I'm definitely buying it. I will say, though, that I didn't love the trailer, just because coming out of Sundance, I knew that the buzz was just sky high for this movie. And a lot of the reviews that I read were saying things along the lines of, it's a romantic dramedy, but it doesn't fall into any of those cliches or tropes that you know of the genre. And I think that this trailer didn't get far enough away from that, where if you didn't know about the film's reputation, you might casually watch this trailer and think, oh, it looks like I might have seen something like this before, heard some of those jokes before. But every single review I've read, and I know Matt and Adam from Collider.com both saw it at Sundance, and they just had only the best things to say about this, that it is super heartfelt, it's a crowd pleaser, it is very unique. I am definitely counting down until I get to see this movie. The trailer felt just short for me, but I still think it's a great piece. Rocha, what do you think?
Oh, I absolutely buy this. I love the trailer so much. Kumail has been coming along, from Silicon Valley to his comedic work, his sketch work. Like he's really becoming a force. Like he's doing it slowly but surely through this whole process. And I think what's in this movie is so powerful and so interesting to explore. And Ray Romano getting a chance to show off his acting chops, which I always love, and Holly Hunter. They make great combination. The jokes, even the 9/11 jokes completely work. And me personally, I've had a massive crush on Zoe Kazan since Ruby Sparks. Like, I just love her as an actress. I love her as a performer, a writer. She's so good. So I've been waiting for her to blow up. But she does really well in these smaller kind of independent films. So it makes sense. And this is another feather in the cap, I think, for Amazon Studios. Another film that's going to come out, get a decent amount of buzz, going to get revered critically, and people are going to go see it and like it. But it just keeps establishing their footprint even more firmer in the film landscape. And I like this so much. The comedy is right. The drama is at the right moments. And this idea of like, she broke up with you. Why are you here? So it adds this element of like a struggle and conflict all the way through this film. And I personally can't wait to see. And they have great chemistry. They have great chemistry together. You can see already. So I look forward to see what this is all about.
You on board?
I think I'm on board. I definitely buy this. It's nice because it seems like it comes from real life. I mean, obviously this is based off, story,
it is a
real
true
life
story.
story.
Yeah.
Also, too, the Pakistani Denzel himself. You guys watch Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
That
right.
quote. He calls himself
That's right.
the Pakistani Denzel. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
He was actually in a video game. He was in the new Mass Effect game too as a voiceover actor. Anyway, also I'm just excited because Aziz Ansari has his show, Masters of None.
Right.
It's about what happened. I mean, they're from different countries, but still, like Aziz Ansari, like it's about his family as his family are immigrants and what it's like to date someone, like let's say a white girl, and then you have the same story with a Pakistani man dating a white girl. It's just I like that we're getting, like Rocha said, that different side of things. I'd love to see this with maybe like a Chinese person or a Vietnamese person. It'd be cool that we're getting more of these stories to explore more cultures in our very diverse country that we lived in here. So
Yeah.
I think this is an excellent story. Perfect timing for this to come out.
Awesome. All right, Natasha, let's move on to our next story.
Okay, a new IMAX poster has been released for Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. The long-awaited fifth installment in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise looks to try to recapture the magic of the first movie by pitting Jack Sparrow against the dead, who are led by Captain Salazar, played by Javier Bardem. THR reports the movie is tracking to set sail at the domestic box office with $90 million more over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend, roughly on par with the last film in the franchise. Directed by Kon-Tiki's Joaquim Ronning and Espen Sandberg, the movie is set to open in theaters on May 26th. Perry Byer saw the IMAX poster for Dead Men Tell No Tales.
No.
Oh!
I don't like it. I don't like it for two reasons. Kind of like what we were saying before about the Dunkirk trailer. I don't like when things are released with the IMAX logo on it and there's nothing about that poster that says IMAX to me. And then I also don't like it because it is a style that we've seen used before. And this is going to sound really, nitpicky and obnoxious, but it's almost like for that kind of design where the characters are supposed to blend into each other, the lines are almost like too harsh, where it's not pretty and it almost just feels like they were Photoshop collaged on top of each other. So I don't really like this poster, but I don't know, I will say, even though I haven't been feeling most of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies of late, I mean, I really only like the first one and kind of the second one. The stuff that I've been seeing for this and the filmmakers behind it are giving me hope that it could be something else. So I don't know, I'm hoping that the final feature is good, but I won't be hanging this poster on my wall anytime soon. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to sell the poster, but I'm excited to see this just because I like Javier Bardem. I didn't really know much about him until No Country for Old Men. I didn't, then I saw, was it Beautiful or Beautiful?
You're Beautiful.
In Inarritu's film. So, he's such a good actor. I'm glad that he's the villain. Obviously, No Country for Old Men. He's one of the best villains in, film history, I think.
Skyfall.
Definitely, and Skyfall as well. So I buy the movie. I just don't like the poster.
Rocha.
I buy the poster. I love it.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, well,
I just had a feeling.
we don't know. We just
Rocha
have
likes
to
posters.
I
He
like
likes posters.
good posters. Yeah. First of all, it has Perry's
Hey,
right.
wait, Rocha, do you like this poster?
The Latin Lover.
Yeah.
That's my book. I wrote that.
You wrote that book? I did. Wow.
That's right. No, I like
That poster drives me nuts, and it doesn't matter what side
It's
of the movie
supposed
talk
to.
desk I'm on. I feel like it's always behind me.
You made money. That movie
I
made
know,
money
it-
too.
clearly it did
Surprising.
make money.
Here's the deal with this poster that I really like. Like Perry, I've been kind of like with the last few installments of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The trailers have looked so good. I've been so excited. Javier Bardem coming back is just brilliant, or coming into the franchise is just brilliant. But what I like about this poster is right in the back, you see it's like globe or the kind of the old school maps right there. It's great design. You see the ship, his hair, because he's coming out of the water. He's been in the water the whole time. It evokes that. The cracking of the skin because he's decaying. All that is there. And also it has a Star Wars kind of vibe, like old school Star Wars vibe to it, where it's leading up to the main villain being bigger than everyone else. So to me, it works as a design I've seen before. Perri does make a valid point that it's a design we've seen before, but it's designed for me that works. My only issue with it is the coral. The coral is so weird where it's placed. I don't get why it's even there, and it just throws it off. But I love that we're getting Jeffrey Rush back. I love that we're getting Johnny Depp. And look, there's no Orlando Bloom in the poster, which is interesting. I find that very, very interesting. And so,
I love how you buy the poster, but you're like, that damn coral.
that coral, damn coral, coral. So for me, I do like the poster, and it evokes the right kind of like power that I think this film is going to have that might go back to the original film. It has the right comedy, but also the right kind of sense of danger.
You wanted to say gravitas instead of power. Is that haters corner today? Do you guys like this or no?
I'll start it off. I have a love and hate with this poster.
Oh, okay.
I love how they subtly put the map in the background.
Yeah.
I love that Javier Bardem's character is like just so detailed and much more giant than everybody else. But I hate the fact that these characters, like Perri said, look like Photoshop, just like we're just going to drag and drop, but we're going to forget to blend. So it looks like a very quick job as opposed to this is for IMAX and this is Pirates 5, and it should. I just feel like it's not complete, and I feel like there's a weird symmetrical thing that's not quite blended in, and I don't understand why they just didn't make it look. It just looks incomplete to me. So that's why I have like a love and hate with it.
Natasha, you
Yeah,
agree?
I mean, I feel like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise has just become incomplete over like their last movies. I really am only a fan of the first one, but I guess I can agree with Rocha. You know, it's a design we've seen before, but I do like it. I do love because Javier Bardem is this decaying villain that everything's just very smoky and decayed. So from like a design point of view, yes, but I don't think really anything can get me into this movie
What?
at this point. No.
Really?
Sorry.
Oh, that's a shame.
Look, I'll go see it with you, man.
No, I want to take Natasha. You want to go. She doesn't want to go. I want to make sure she goes.
David, you
Guys,
can
I'll
be my
be
plus
at
one.
band
It's fine.
practice, okay? Not joy.
We'll go after
Only
band
if you wear that
practice.
shirt.
Oh, well, that's right. This is like wearing the
perfect
shirt here. It's
shirt, man.
perfect. This is cosplay. Pirates of the Caribbean cosplay. Yeah.
Nobody's wearing a Bahama shirt in Cards of the Caribbean.
All right, Natasha, what is our last buy or sell for the day?
Okay, Sony Pictures has unveiled a new TV spot for filmmaker Edgar Wright's highly anticipated new film, Baby Driver. Written and directed by the Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz director, the film is a heist story starring Ansel Elgort as Baby, a getaway driver who suffers from tinnitus and listens to music to drown out the ringing in his ears while he performs his getaways. The film also stars Lily James, John Hamm, John Bernthal, and Jamie Foxx, and it opens in theaters on June 28th. Rocha, buy or sell the new TV spot for Baby Driver?
Oh, I absolutely buy this TV spot. I think it accomplishes everything it's supposed to accomplish because it goes back to this vibe that it's a comedy. It's a fun action comedy. Yeah, and there's a love story there. We get some more of that with Lily James, and then we get Kevin Spacey kind of taking central role as the villain in this, and you get the little Rolling Stone review. Like all of it is there to accomplish what it's supposed to accomplish. Get you excited about the film, sense that it's funny, sense that there's action. This is a different kind of film, and then you get the critics are behind it as well. So to me, it hits all the points it's supposed to hit for a 30-second TV spot, and it gets me super excited that they're moving away from this idea of trying to make it this kind of really important, deep, and no, it's fun action comedy. It's Edgar Wright. That's where he makes his bones.
You put Edgar Wright's name on a project, and I am instantly intrigued, and I want more. And what a great idea, too. I mean, this is just a really fun, unique. I mean, it's not fun to have that ringing in your ear, but it's just a very creative idea for a film, and it's also a creative idea that happens to lend itself to really effective promos.
Yeah.
Because every single thing that has come out from this movie, I feel like it has all those things. It has all those things that you see pop up in the little critics quotes. You could feel that just by watching a 2-minute trailer. So, and this TV spot is really no different. It's so much fun, and I want Ansel Elgort to be a thing. You know, it's not that he's had bad movies. It's just I feel like most people probably know him from Fault in Our Stars, and Fault in Our Stars, even though that was a good movie that did very, very well, a lot of people look at that as, like a schmaltzy young adult adaptation, and he doesn't really get the credit he deserves. He is a very talented actor, and I really think that Baby Driver is going to be something that puts him on the map, kind of like he should be. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree about. I mean, I like him too. Fault in Our Stars wasn't my favorite movie, but I thought he did a good job in it. I mean, he carries himself well on screen. He's in the Divergent movies too, isn't he? He's in a couple of those. It's again
he
not
didn't
his
really
fault.
Get the role
not his fault. He's not getting the roles. But I mean, I feel like a lot of young actors, especially good-looking guys like him, Heath Ledger had that issue.
Yep.
Before he's just the guy from the chick flicks, whatever like that. And then he started doing
about
Brokeback Mountain, The Dark Knight. This guy can act. I think he just needs a vehicle, no pun intended. Maybe this is that vehicle for him to kind of cement himself into that. Hey, this guy can act. He also carry an action film. It looks like all the actors are having fun.
Yeah.
It's like they're just having fun. It's like it's going to be a fun movie. I would like to see this one.
Awesome.
If Rocha will go with me, but probably not.
I will go. Absolutely. With you, I will go, David.
Thank
that's
you,
very
thank
kind of
you.
you.
Right after
All
band
right.
practice. Yeah.
Band
So
practice.
now is the time of the show when I get to remind you that we are going to save some time to take your live Twitter questions. So start tweeting them in right now to the Collider video on Twitter, and Wendy's going to pick out some good ones. Also, we got a whole bunch of plugs for you today. So there was a new episode of Jedi Council that dropped yesterday. I think Rocha was on that show.
That was awesome.
And then also TV Talk Live every single day this week.
Yeah.
Wrapped up today.
Woo.
Clearly, David is still pumped. And I don't blame you, because huge congrats to David, Makuga, Sinead, and the whole team, because you guys freaking crushed it this week. It was awesome. So go check out some of those episodes on the channel right now. We also have today's Schmodown that's going to drop, and that match is between Josh Makuna. Josh Makuga. I kind of mushed their names together. Josh Makuga and Tom Dagnino, formerly Finstock. So that one's going up. We also have Mailbag on Saturday and Sunday, and then, of course, the best of the best. It's Collider Behind the Scenes. You're going to want to watch that, right, David?
Oh yes. If you want to, oh man, there's some pain in that one, but it's worth watching. It'll be fun to watch. Yeah.
It's delightful.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
And then lastly, of course, as we do every week, we have a link to the latest episode of Jeremy Johns' show, Awesome Tacular, in the description section of the show. So please go check that out. It's a lot of fun. All right, now we are moving on to our mailbag question for the day. Natasha, what do we got?
All right, where are my Rocket Power fans at? Raymundo writes, hello, crew. You recently talked about how the number of advance tickets sold has increased more. I've also noticed that more theaters are adding more reserved seating style rooms. Do you think that this is a cause for the increase? Are moviegoers more eager to get advance tickets since they want to make sure they get a good seat? Personally, I buy advance tickets the day they come out for this reason. Love to hear your thoughts.
It is just a sign of the times. The way people like to operate in their daily lives has changed, and that's largely because how much exists digitally and online. It's so, why would you ever want to just randomly show up to a movie theater, buy a ticket on the spot, and then hope you get a good seat when you can plan ahead and pick any seat you like and know that you can get there? Because I know some people don't like sitting through 30 minutes of previews. Know that you can get there a couple minutes before your movie starts. Your seat's going to be open. It's going to be comfortable. It's a trend, and it's a trend that's going to have to continue, especially if it's going to compete with the closing of the release windows and also the rise of streaming services. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you buy tickets to get an airplane. You buy hotel certain hotel rooms in certain locations. Why wouldn't you buy tickets ahead of time? I love this. I have two friends who buy our tickets when we go as a group. We went to Guardians of the Galaxy last night. 35 of us rolled into the ArcLight. It was great. And so we get to buy ahead, sit with our friends, our group.
Whose credit card does that go on?
Well, my friend's
35. That's a lot of tickets.
My friend's an executive, so we put that stuff, and so we all show up, and we all get to sit together and enjoy ourselves, and it's relaxing, and you don't have to run to the theater at the last minute to get a ticket or whatever. You can show up, have a drink, hang out, go into the theater 2 or 3 minutes until, and it's great. It's a convenience thing. We are a country of convenience now. I think a world of convenience, as this is spreading all over the place, and I like the idea of once you know a theater and you know the particular theaters within the theater, that what seats are the best, what locations are the best within the bigger ones or the smaller ones. It's perfect.
Also, I think, thankfully, the movie theaters are much more reliable than the airlines, as the adventures of Cobster and I over there had coming from Star Wars Celebration. Interesting travel, but thankfully, I think people are smarter buyers now. They're smarter shoppers. They know, like tonight, I'm going to see Guardians of the Galaxy. AMC Prime is really hard to get into. It's probably the best theater in LA in terms of sound quality and picture quality. And I got my tickets like 3 weeks ago. I know where they are. They're in the center, so I know I can go have dinner tonight, have a nice drink, to kind of cool off after 5 days of TV talk, and then just stroll in and watch the movie.
Right.
It just goes to show. I mean, that's what people are into now. You want like the premium experience, and it goes hand in hand with how it works for the theater change and for studios too, because buying advance tickets lets them know how many more theaters they could program these movies in. Right. It gives theater chains the opportunity to snag your email and send out alerts for other things. So I mean, as long as it kind of works out for everybody, that's great. I certainly like the service.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. That's all we got for Mailbag today. If you guys want your questions answered either on this show or we have Mailbag every weekend, send them on over to collidervideo@gmail.com. And now it is Twitter time. Wendy, what do we got?
The first one comes from Elber Wiradharma, who writes, "What is the most misleading movie title?"
Misleading. Wow.
You know what? That Personal Shopper one was misleading.
Oh, because it wasn't about a personal shopper at all?
I never
Oh.
I never saw it, but I really
Okay.
wanted to. I hear Kristen Stewart's great in that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to
Misleading
think one
movie
now off the
title.
top of my head.
Yeah? Jaws was about a shark. That wasn't misleading.
Drive
Glad
was
we
about a
cleared
guy
that
who
up.
Drive,
drives
I mean, like,
around.
I don't
so that's-
know.
yeah, that was good. In America, well, yeah.
This is a good question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's see.
Okay.
Trying to think.
What,
Oh,
the
are
squid
we-
and the whale? There was no squid or whale in that.
True.
Right? That's a good point.
True.
Right? Cinderella Man, there was no Cinderella. Like in terms of like there's nobody
I
with
hope
a
this
slipper.
is answering your question.
Reservoir
I'm
Dogs, there were
sorry.
no dogs.
No.
Pineapple Express, no
No pineapples.
No
Yeah.
Express.
Well, it was
there
a
a
name. It
pineapple?
was a
Well,
strain of weed.
yeah.
I think.
Oh, okay.
It was a strain of weed, so
Okay.
it just wasn't like the fruit pineapple.
Okay, all right.
Still very misleading.
What about the Constant Gardener? Was that about a gardener at all?
Well, I think that's more of a like
I'm
an
just asking
allegory. Yeah, I don't think.
questions.
Yeah, it's
Right?
yeah.
All right.
I'm sure Shakespeare has to have a title or something that's not in there.
Well, the Devil Wears Prada, there was no devil.
But there was Prada.
There was Prada. The man who wasn't there, he was there the whole time.
We're not doing well.
He was
We're
there.
failing.
No,
not
we're doing really well.
We're
I
not
think
doing
we're
well.
doing
At some
well.
point, I'm
I'm
going to
sorry.
think of a legit answer to this question. But in the meantime, while we brainstorm in
Yeah.
the background, let's find another Twitter question, please.
This one is from Logan Morrell, who writes, "If your life was turned into a film, who would you want to write the score of your life?"
Oh.
I thought I was going to say, who do you want me to play? Who do I
That's-
play?
yeah,
That's
I was-
easy
I
for
was
me.
going there.
We're
too.
not allowed to cuss on here, but I would say Hans frickin' Zimmer. I would love, from the Man of Steel soundtrack to the Pirates of the Caribbean music, I would love to have my life scored by
See,
Hans
the only thing
Zimmer.
with Hans Zimmer is he's so intense. I feel like
Exactly.
my whole life, he's like, bomb, bomb, bomb.
That's the Outlaw's life, son. Intense.
For me, I'd
It
like
actually is a really appropriate choice for you.
I would think.
I'd like James, the late and great James Horner. I think of the Glory soundtrack, which is one of my favorites. I've
That's a
had
great
the
soundtrack.
Harlem Boys choir singing in the background the whole time. I could do that. Yeah.
I-
See, they know what I'm talking. Yeah, they get it. You know.
I have to go with the obvious answer and say John Williams. I mean,
Oh, yeah, of
really,
course.
Lot of
I want
strings.
my life to have one of the most iconic theme songs of all the themes of all time.
Yeah.
And just like during Star Wars
Remember,
Celebration.
there was a Family Guy episode where Peter Griffin had a wish. I think one of his wishes was that he could have theme music for no matter. So if he's on the bus, it was a theme song. If he was walking, like he had theme music for everything he was doing. That'd be perfect. It was written by John Williams.
I think that's an I'm gonna get you sucker when a guy's walking behind him with a record player spinning and he's
I'm
like,
gonna
gotta
get
have theme music. Gotta have theme music.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Chariots of Fire. No chariots and no fire. There we go.
Has anyone figured out a legit answer to this question yet? Maybe we can squeeze in 2 more Twitter questions, Wendy?
Okay. LeJonathan writes, "Valerian's budget is
French.
210 million without marketing. Do you think it can get back and also be a success? Thanks a lot."
Which budget?
Which budget? Sorry.
The Valerian.
Valerian,
Oh.
200 million.
Nope.
Wow.
210 million.
That thing is gonna
That's
crash
about right.
and burn.
But
a lot
I
of
will be
money.
seeing that because it looks like for the Fifth Element and it's Luc Besson, so I will definitely be there.
Why don't you look at the box office Fifth Element? That thing is gonna
Wow.
crash
I know,
and
that's
burn.
true.
I don't know where that number came from.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at box office
what do you
Mojo
have?
right now. It's got not available. So
Oh.
I don't know if that's
One
true.
of our fans has an inside track.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jonathan.
It could have been reported somewhere
true.
for all I
Yeah.
know. But if that is an accurate number, oh God help them. That's a lot of money to have to
It
make
could do
back.
well
But
internationally, maybe.
that's definitely a
It's French,
possibility. And I'll continue to say I brought it up a couple of times. Last year at Comic-Con, we got to sit in a room with Luc Besson, and he showed us footage from the film. And it was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So even though some people might look at this idea and maybe not think Cara Delevingne's the greatest actress ever and say, "Oh, this is going to be a silly thing," there you
She
go.
was dancing, boy. That girl
There
was
you
working.
go.
She was
She
working.
was.
She was
Bring it
dancing.
back. Bring it back.
What, you want to do
Every
it?
time you cut away.
Hey, Suicide
All right.
Squad. Hey, Suicide Squad.
I bought it. I
Yeah.
was in it.
No, I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy last night, and they had a trailer for Valerian ahead of it. Looks great. Totally Fifth Element vibe. Dane DeHaan, Cara Delevingne are not going to put butts in seats. I'm not to
That
the
is
tune of
that is
210
Leo
million. They're just
DiCaprio's
not.
younger brother.
Right. Well,
That's
yeah.
young Leo.
Like if there's I just
He
don't
is
think it's
very talented.
And there's
He is
nothing
good.
against
He
and
is
there's nothing
good.
against
Yeah.
them as actors or actresses or presence. I just don't think they're going to put butts in seats to make up for a $210 million budget. If Le Jonathan is telling the truth.
It could be like a Lucy though. Lucy made 500 million worldwide.
Lucy
It could
had
be-
Scarlett
Lucy wa-
Johansson.
That's
Lucy's
true,
great,
yeah.
but Lucy's a
Lucy
good movie.
and like Lucy had Scarlett Johansson, and I think that the concept that we saw in the trailers for Lucy is more likely to get butts and seats than the concept we've seen of Valerian, which might, make people shy away from even considering it.
International is possible because it's based on an old, like a decades-long French comic book, but like domestically here in the States, I don't think it's possible.
We shall see. All right, last one, Wendy.
Last one comes from Genuine Randall, who writes, "What's your box office predictions for this weekend, Guardians of the Galaxy?"
Oh, I think I already did this on a previous movie talk, so I think I need to stick with. I believe I said 165.
Wow.
151, $151 million.
151. I would say 160, just to be in the middle between you two.
Who's got $1?
Yeah, who's got
$1, Bob.
Natasha.
I'll take it.
Natasha has $1.
Yes.
All right. Does anyone have a real answer to that first Twitter question, or still no?
With just the Chariots of Fire, there's no
There's no
chariots and no
chariots and no
fire.
fire.
Oh,
Dance
you
with
know what
wolves,
I
there's no
mean.
dancing and no wolves.
You know what
Well,
I
there's
mean.
wolves.
There's
but no
wolves. There's no
dancing.
dancing. Well, no, I think
There's dancing.
There's
What about the
Oh.
Iron Lady? There's no iron. There is a lady.
There's a lady.
There's a lady. That's true. I don't know. We're not doing so well.
At some point over the course of the day, I'm going to give a real answer to that question where a title of a movie was misleading just in terms of like the concept
Well, I
and
think,
the
I think
tone
that
and the
shows
style
that
you're going to
movies
get.
are really good at having names. I mean, Con Air. There's a con, and it takes place in the air. Right? That's a good movie. You know Con Air.
I do know Con Air.
Wow.
Oh,
no
boy.
help today.
All right.
I
You
still
know-
think the Constant Gardener's the winner. There's no gardener in that movie. What about train spotting? There's nobody spotting trains. Swimming with sharks? No one's swimming with sharks in the movie at all. Although the sharks are the agents. There we go.
Well,
Look, this is
I
the
don't
best I
think
got.
there's a better place to end than that. Thank you guys so much for suffering through and hopefully enjoying this Friday edition of Movie Talk. Before we wrap up today, I want to give all the guys in the back a shout out and a thank you. We got Adam and Cody, and I see some Copster over there too. Yeah,
Copster.
Copster.
No, he's like, I'm not.
He's not involved in this at all.
Copster says he's not
Copster's
here.
there. No, he's
Copster.
there. He's there. He always lies. And then, of course, the guys at the table with me. Rocha, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Please follow me there. I just dropped the first episode of the Outlaw Nation podcast, which is on the
Very good.
Schmoes Know podcast channel. Thank you, David. It's on YouTube as well. And this morning we dropped the Cinephiles, which is on Twitter and on God, I'm sorry. It's on iTunes and on Stitcher and on YouTube. We did an homage to Jonathan Demme, who just passed away. We did Silence of the Lambs. So those are things. And then, of course, what do we got going on here? Oh, and then this. Right. Let's go forward. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted.
Well, that was really
Sorry.
effective. Everyone's going to be really excited
yeah,
about
I
your
know.
stuff now.
Christian says I'm terrible at this. I'm sorry.
David, where can everyone find you besides behind the scenes this weekend?
Yeah, so besides behind the scenes.
Now who's terrible? Now who's terrible?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at GriffinDE. Collider TV Talk was a fun one today. It was the last daily show for now. We talked about the new Inhumans teaser, which showed nothing. We also talked about the Game of Thrones. We actually pitched ideas to Sinead DeFries. She played an HBO executive for us, and we pitched ideas about what kind of spin-offs we'd like to see for Game of Thrones. So it was a very exciting show.
She'd be a great.
And
HBO.
Natasha, where can everyone find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NatashaLexis_.
Wendy.
The Movie Couple channel on YouTube and at Wendy Lee Zaney on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
And you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at Perri Nemiroff, and of course, Collider Behind the Scenes tomorrow, 2 p.m. PSD. Give it a watch. I guarantee you will laugh. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great weekend.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.